So I'm kind of bored with my WWE game that I've already played. Like it's pretty much the same. It's not too bad when it comes to being able to fight anybody. Like how I have it set up is I have Raw is basically the guy's show, and then SmackDown's the woman's show, and then the main event show is like they have the most mixed championships in there that you can use. The main event. And then I have the Mutiny and NXT or whatever. But like none of that doesn't matter. But like that's how I have it set up, and that's how I would have it set up if I was them. But um, kind of just give them like their own show. Like they have enough belts. They should, throw some NXT if you want in there. And maybe it's not going to be SmackDown. Maybe that you make a different show. But they need their own show. Um, like all that being said, nobody cares about. Anyway, so yeah, Michigan. Wow, already a minute and a half into the video. So like Michigan is extremely hard to make it here. Um, Especially in my area. And not saying that I'm going to go back to St. Joe and like do really, really good. I might go back and do really, really bad. Um, what it just seems like this place it's not meant for me right now. Maybe if like I've already lived this life here. Like um working at my old job, and I was completely miserable. At first it was cool. It was cool working with my kid a little bit. But then it just got, thinking like I'm not gonna like they have AI taking over one of the facilities there, and there's going to be a lot of jobs and people pushed out onto um more than me and my kid were. So like we're going to just keep having to do crap work forever, and um like I hated that job, and he was so uninspired, and um it's kind of like when I lost my job, it's kind of like I'm on my last half point. Um, I should never let my points get that high, but it was just like it was a huge day. There was no way I would be able to make it, um, because I was sick. And the rider I got, the first one was broke. The wheel was broke. I didn't even know until I got there. So I was gonna go look for another one, and that's when I was like, there was nothing really left, and I was just like, today's gonna be a really bad day, and I don't think I can handle it. I don't. If I wasn't sick, yeah, I would be able to handle it, but since I was sick, and I was like, it's gonna be a huge day. I'm gonna have junk equipment. It was just like, dude, time to go. Like it is what it is. I don't know what I was doing when I moved back up here anyway. I probably should never even moved back up here. It was, like giant mistake, I guess. I probably should have just stayed where I was, just stick with my plan of getting an apartment closer to the gym. But it is what it is. Like, when I go back, I might not do well. I might do horrible. There's a lot of different jobs there for sure because it's a bigger place than where I'm at. And a big thing too, like where I'm at, since there like really isn't a lot of jobs. The job I had is a pretty solid job for this area, but so there's nothing else really pays to like equal to it, even close to it. Um, I either gotta like travel to Detroit or travel to Toledo, so I really don't want to commute that far. I don't want to commute no more. I'm tired of commuting, so it's just like it's just probably better for me to go back and hopefully things. It's just they pay more starting out. Well, they did. They might have changed it, but it just seems like they had higher standard of pay, higher rate of pay to start out for regular workers. Um, and here it's like it's a higher standard of living too. So it's um yeah, like I'm done with Michigan. I've spent a lot of my time. It just feels like home to me. Like it's the longest I've lived anywhere. Um, but it's like there's no opportunities, and honestly, like I'm not gonna stay where I'm at. I don't like my apartment. I was planning on moving it anyway. And then I kind of see what else is in this town, and I'm like, there's no jobs. There really isn't much for like housing. So, adios. See ya. This is why everyone is leaving Michigan, because there isn't a lot of opportunity here. I mean, I guess they have a lot of welfare, maybe. I don't know. But, um, yeah, it's like the big thing is it's higher standard of living, and they don't really start you out much more than they do where I'm going. So it's just like, it is what it is. Like, um, I'm just trying to make it like to my pod. Like when do we get, when are we gonna have our pods, man? Like seriously, I don't want to have to worry about like resources and all this. It's just I'm fine just getting my monthly or daily UBI credits to house me and fund me living. Um, yeah, this is what we're not going to be able to stay on our fiat. The fiat currency is like on any of them, like they're all doomed. They don't last long. You just you you can't sustain it. Especially when you don't have it backed by anything. They took our dollar off the gold standard, so they could print as much as they want, and they have. It's a recipe for disaster. So, but here in Michigan, it's just like, if you have money, cool. If you don't, then like, man, it's a, it feels like what I'm about to go through. I'm about to put myself through. I feel like I'm about to put myself through like extreme hell. I don't want to work. I hate working. I'm gonna try to work a couple jobs so I can like really take a bite out of that, and hopefully nothing bad happens, so I can like take a big bite out of the debt. Um, you know, and just focusing on working and making as much money as I possibly can. Um, by working a couple jobs, working, hopefully getting some type of stable manufacturing type of job. We'll see. And then maybe like a service job where I'm like doing fast food or like working at Walmart or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. Like I'm gonna try to work multiple jobs and try to have multiple, and just for a few months to try to get this debt under control, um and then hopefully like I won't have to be in this situation anymore, which I won't, because I'm a pretty frugal person, man, and that's what I'm a very frugal person, and that's this. If anyone else lived my life, they probably would have went bankrupt by now. So I'm doing the best I can. I've raised kids on my own, I haven't had any help, so um, I guess I've had a little bit when I moved to Washington State and I stayed at my dad's for like I think 7 months or something like that till I felt pretty confident that I could get someplace that I can actually somewhat afford, and I actually moved like a far away from them. I moved like 30 minutes south of them. Um, so yeah, it was like, dude, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like seriously. And the place I lived at was not too bad. I liked it. A little bit too. This is because Tacoma's right there, and I thought the Puyallup was pretty alright. That was pretty cool. Um, so yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. Pretty crazy. Um, and man, when I talked to my dad, he made it sound like unless like he doesn't want um like us to come back and live with them and try to live there. Because, like my brother wants to leave, but I think both my brothers want to leave. My dad, and then it's just like my dad's made it sound like I'm lucky I got out when I did. And I've made a lot of mistakes. And, like if I would have stayed in Washington State, me and my kids would have both had to take something of 2021. What I'm talking about. I don't know if I can even talk about it. You know what I mean? Like some people took um, because of a situation. So like it's it's crazy, but like I guess we just have to do what we have to do to like survive. You know what I mean? And hopefully, like I'm tired of these recessions and like booms and busts. I don't want to deal with this. Like, do they not understand? Like, the more booms and busts that happen, like without any type of stability, causes friction and chaos, and it's unsustainable. It's unsustainable, man. And there's a lot of wealth that has been taken from the middle class and the working class that they're not going to be able to take much more, man. I'm just saying, you'll just have people that are just like, I don't care. I'm not going to work anymore. Like, for what? And because you're not paying me enough to live. Like, the only jobs that I could get here where I'm at is like a service job, and it's not enough to pay my bills. I mean, maybe if I didn't have a bunch of debt, sure, maybe I would be able to make it for a period of time until like my car broke or something like that. And then whatever like savings I acquired, I would just like spend on fixing my vehicle to keep getting me back and forth to this crappy job that I hate. It doesn't pay me enough. Like, I don't want to do that. Let's see if these people are coming here. They're supposed to be doing an inspection. Guess not. It feels weird being unemployed, man. It really does. This is the longest I've been unemployed. Um, the longest I've been out of work is like, I don't know, like 6 weeks for like surgery, and then I think I was out of work for like 2 months when I moved to Washington State to get my kids all situated in school. And yeah, so like, I don't know, man. I would like to own a house. I would like to have somewhere where I can like lay my head and hang up pictures and be like, this is my place. I definitely want that, but I want to make sure it's in a decent area. Not, and it's hard. It's hard to figure out what's going to be a good area going forward. So it's hard for me to plant roots. Um, I don't know what's gonna happen. But I don't think like Lynn Alden doesn't seem to think that the dollar is gonna make it. I mean, we probably have a few years left of um until we have to deal with hyperinflation when all of those liabilities come due for like the people who are retiring when the baby boomers all start collecting. Um, and then that'll put a huge strain. And they're gonna have to like print more money, because that's their solution is print more money. But like you're gonna have to. There's some times that you're gonna have to print money. Like if they're going to print out money though, they need to help out certain sectors of our economy. Like when they were talking about the $5,000 Doge, not a printout of money, but a give back. Um, to the American people as like and a boost to the economy too, so people get 5,000, and yeah, and it's just like the taxpayers. If you paid the, not everybody gets. It's not a stimulus. It's just the people that like pay taxes when that happened. They should get. What if they're gonna give back? Give to just those people. Like that's what I'm saying. Like what happened during the lockdowns and stuff. When you had people getting paid more to stay at home and you had some places where you had like I was living in a probably a apartment type of place where they I wouldn't be shocked if they couldn't kick me out if I stayed there. Like some of these places people stayed like a year and a half or something like that. I don't know about that, but they stayed there without paying any type of rent, and then they got checks that were like more money than their actual jobs on top of that. So they didn't they didn't have to pay if they wanted to like skip out on rent and not pay rent, worry about it later. Like they just like doubled their like income overnight and not having to go to work on top of that. People like me had to still keep going to work, and we didn't get nothing for that. It was like these people got rewarded way more than we did just to stay at home. It's kind of like the illegals that are rewarded in like nice hotels in New York City on our dime because the Democrats want to try to preserve future voters for them for their WEF control of the world. I don't know what they're doing. Um, but it's Trump is America's last bastion of hope. It's the world's last bastion of hope. He wants to bring world peace. He's talked about denuclearization. I wonder if people understands the gravity of that. He wants to get rid of nuclear bombs. He's trying to decentralize the world's currency with Bitcoin. This is what we wanted. This is exactly what crypto people wanted. And then it's just like, since everything didn't pop off and it went down, it's like, yes, I guess like rich people haven't decided that they want to get in yet. All it takes is like, because it's cheap right now, honestly. Like, I don't know how much cheaper they'll be able to go down. I'm not sure, because if you look at crashes, if you look at Bitcoin crashes in the past, you look at charts in the past, which this is completely different. I don't even like care about charts really. Like when I see charts, this and that. This is how Bitcoin we're due for this. I don't really like care about those anymore. But what I will say is it because we're in a bear. We're this is bear market. Talking. Like, we have had some huge gains for the crypto markets, and like gigantic, and they haven't really moved. This type of stuff before would move markets. Talking about like Trump making a Bitcoin reserve, that would move markets. Now, I know he's probably sitting back and thinking like, why is this not popping off? Well, it's because you have to start, going to other countries and being like, hey, this is what we're going to. This is why. And you have to start influencing other people to spend their resources on Bitcoin and get these other countries in, man. Like, you guys have to get out there and do it. You guys are the spokesmen. You have to get other people on board. Like, this is why. And once other countries start going in, and like it becomes more and more decentralized, and that's what we want. We want a decentralized currency that holds value. And for the fact that people say that there's no value, it's like, the value is the fact that you can't make any more. There's only so many. We can keep track of, we can see everybody's transactions. So, like, what's your problem? You can use it on, like, any type of platform, whether it's Amazon, which I don't know what, and, to pay your bills and to get paid. These are like great platforms for that types of stuff. Like banks, and I think that's what uh, XRP might go towards, more of the banks. That's what I kind of like seen when I was looking into Bitcoin in 2016. I was like, but to centralize it, they like to centralize. That's why I was surprised when Trump said he's putting XRP in there. So like the banks, you're gonna like letting us borrow against our assets. They're kind of gonna be like FTX, but like they'll be backed. FTX wasn't backed by anything, so they'll be their own exchanges, and we'll probably have our own like types of infrastructure that we use for trading. And yeah, we definitely need to stop the trade wars. Like, we just want just fair. That's just like how it should be, fair, man. Like, you don't want pirates and shipping lanes, right? So like, contribute to help out. Like, we want to make sure shipping lanes are safe and secure, and Like we should be working with each other, not fighting against each other. You know, like we should all be prospering. But moving on to a system that doesn't have slaves anymore, and has robots doing all that work, and people using their creativity, like, and their skills, and be able to make stuff on their own, what they want to make. That's beautiful. The creativity would extremely blossom if we didn't have to worry about working menial jobs that don't really have much reward at the end of the day. As opposed to when everything is so artificial, something what I think is something created by hands that are not on an assembly line, you know, will probably have more value as long as it's good product. Like the Amish do, how they make tables and furniture and stuff like that. Like that stuff is going to be worth more than like just some off the automation line, like completely automated. And there's such an abundance, they're really, really cheap. It's really easy to fabricate that stuff. We might even do 3D printing at some point. So we won't have to do any type of shipping. People can just go somewhere and anything can be 3D printed there, possibly. Um, so we shall see. I mean, you just have to look at the Klaus Schwab books, and they talk about some of the technology that they're these are old books too. The Fourth Industrial Revolution. One of my favorite books, by the way. I don't like Klaus Schwab, but like I think that was. I think he's wrote some pretty solid books that gathered my interest so much that I listened to one of them twice. So like, I kind of like that's cool. You don't like me, but I can provide value. You don't have to like do experiments on us and like get rid of us. You know what I mean? So it's just like we can all live kumbaya, like, and we can start trying to colonize Mars, man. That's what we should be doing. Let's stop fighting over it. There's so much land. Like, why are we fighting over it? And we're having a depopulation problem. So like, you're gonna have to see the world's reorganize their communities, and this time when we do it, like, we need to do it right. We don't need to mix about. We need to have communities where there's mixed, and then we need to have communities where people that's their culture. You should, like, if you move from another place, it should be a lot like your place where you came from. Like there should be somewhere like that in America. Like we need to like separate the lines of Christianity and Muslims, and you can't you have to like have like different lines when it comes to culture, not race. Culture is a thing. So people, because you can't blend cultures, man. It causes conflict, and blending stuff. It's just no, like you have to assimilate to who's there, and yeah. So like, while a half an hour video of me blabbering about a bunch of stuff that doesn't matter, and I appreciate the couple people that do watch, though. I appreciate that you watch. One of the funniest comments that somebody said to me was like, "It's like you're talking to yourself on your channel." Like, thanks. I know. I know. It's like whenever I say anything, it's like I'm talking to myself, and it's like that's fine. It's cool. Um, but yeah, it's like the same starting out pay here that it is basically back where I used to live. And like I said, maybe the pay went down. I haven't even looked. I'm gonna look more next month when I start looking for a job. I am going to stop smoking weed. I need a whole month to make sure that my immune system, that my system is cleaned out, and by the end of this month, I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit smoking weed. And just doing, man, I'm about to go to hell, man. Jesus, it's like, oh, I smoking weed, blah blah blah. Like I know, man, I know, and a really good. That's why I'm not really trying to apply for like really good jobs at first. I'm trying to get whatever I can get, any type of fast food, any of those that'll take me. I'm going to go in there, and that's the hope. Um, and hopefully I get. I've worked a couple fast food jobs before, so when my ex-wife was pregnant, before she lost the twins, um, they were like miscarriage. But when I found out she did, then I got a job right across the street. So I worked at Wendy's and I worked at Arby's at the same time. Um, so like I have no problem doing something like that again. And I have no shame even being an old man working at that type of establishment. Um, I really don't want to do it in my area because I don't want to run into my ex fiance and I'm working at one of these places and like I just don't want her getting like, you know, her seeing me and then like, being able to say whatever the hell she wants and I can't say nothing back, and it's just like, no. No, like you're so much better off than me, and like I don't care if the people from like work like came in and like seen me or something, like that's cool, like they can laugh, but like it's the ex fiance, especially like with like some dude that's like way better than me, and it's just like no, like I'm good. I think I'm good. Um, I'm going to move now. I'm going to leave. And like I said, the only time if I ever move back here, it won't. If I move back here, it won't be in this area. It will be like north. It'll because I want there to be a lot of snow. There's not. It's kind of like hit or miss where I'm at with snow. I think there's less tornadoes up north than there is here. I'm not saying that there isn't tornadoes, but that's somewhere that I would rather live than where I live now, and kind of just been in this community for a long time, and yeah, not really digging it. I think that like my time is been worn out, and you know what it is. I think that like what happened with my job and everything was just like how nobody's hiring me too. Like like when I was like trying these different places and nobody's hiring me, I'm getting rejected. I didn't get rejected that many times. I'm just kind of like I'm over it. I'm gonna smoke weed now, and I waited like a month and a half, and I'm like I'm over it. So, um, yeah, I'm gonna stop smoking weed again. I'm just doing it for right now. Just trying to enjoy the last bit of freedom, um, until I have to put myself into like utter work chaos. Hopefully, it doesn't last long. Hopefully, I make. Hopefully, I, I could definitely. I'm probably going to use a lot of caffeine. So, but we shall see. We shall see if I succeed or fail. Um, my kid's got to get a job too, so like we both do, and it should be interesting. Hopefully, it's a better situation for the time. Hopefully, it's the right move. Like, if I so what it is my credit, man. That's what it is. So it's hard. It's just like that's why I wanted to have like my like go back and I got family by in case um like I can't get a place because of my credit. My credit is just taking a big hit because um debt consolidation. So yeah, what that is like you just stop paying and you put your money in this account and they take it out every month and then they just like I guess like um, negotiate what price they want for my debt and like they buy the debt off of them and and they pay that with the money that I gave to them as they borrow money from a bank or something like that. And it didn't really do much, honestly. It lowered my payment. Yeah, like I just have to like when I did it, I was looking for shortcuts because I was planning on like I cut out my health insurance. I was looking for shortcuts where I can cut money, and that's somewhere I decided to make that move, and I didn't plan on losing my job, man. I planned on like at least making it all the way to the summer. I didn't think that I would that I'd make it, but it is what it is. So just have to take it easy. I'm trying to figure out which way I want to go there, and it's like I'm thinking about renting a car. I don't know. Maybe renting a car and taking like very minimal stuff. Like I don't have a lot of stuff anyway, so taking two cars. It seems like it would be a lot cheaper for me to just rent an SUV and because I don't really care about my mattress and other than that, I looked at the U-Haul and there's one, to get one to tow my car, it would cost me over $1,000, which is okay, not too bad. I'm probably gonna go that way, just get a rent to the U-Haul and then just tow my car. Try to figure out which one I want to tow my car with, and I think that's the best bet. Yeah, and it's it's pretty unfortunate that it didn't work out. But I did come back. I did get my son to vote for Trump, and I voted for Trump here. So that was a good thing. I got to see my kid a little bit, even though it was kind of nobody's business. So I'm not gonna go into any type of explanation of that. But you know, um, I don't want to talk about his situation on this. So how many minutes do I get into this? Dang, it's almost 40 minutes. So yeah, that's in a nutshell. It's just like it's easier to make it. The standard of living is lower. It's cheaper for housing. It's cheaper, and it's a little bit higher pay starting out. At least it's in a red state. You know. It doesn't mean that I have to be there forever. We'll see. Maybe I decide to stay there forever. Who knows? But maybe I go into a situation I really liked. I liked working at that factory in Washington State, and I left that job, and I loved it, but I hated it. I loved the job because I actually try to go above and beyond instead of just sitting around doing nothing. Like I would try to keep busy because I actually really cared, and um, I did in my last job too. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go back there. I might. That would be funny if I go back. Um, yeah, if they the thing is I think that they probably are good on staffing. I mean, we're going through a recession right now, so um, I'm not really thinking they're trying to hire anybody. And that's the problem is the recession. And like that's to top it off. I lost my job right at the time of a recession. It's like, oh, damn it. I hope he can turn this thing around quick. And that's what I hope it is. I hope we can just it can be a quick transfer. But yeah, that's it.